The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley and his guest will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore them or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guests will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on The Answer. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley and his guests will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on The Answer.
Yeah. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Yeah.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and I tell you, we got an absolutely fantastic show. As you already know, we're celebrating Women's History Month and a lot of different facets of that. And, you know, sometimes in our lives, I'm talking about, you know, we all experience grief, and we all have to deal with it in our own certain ways. Many times, I think we need help when we're dealing with grief. We sometimes need a coach to come out and help us get through the venue and help us out. We got a guest on today. She's been on the show, at least the last 7 years. She's been on. She gave me an opportunity for television and radio, and so I'm so grateful for her. But we got her on, and we're going to talk about grief. We're going to talk about how grief affected her life, and she is a grief coach. You know, so that's going to be important. So if you want to be part of this conversation, regardless of which platform that you're watching this on, whether it's E360 television, Transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Rumble, and others. Welcome to the show. If you're listening to us on the radio, AM 660 The Answer out of Dallas, AM 1170 The Answer out of San Diego, welcome to the show. And if you want to be part, just go to the comments, ask any questions that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer for this extremely interesting conversation that we're going to have there. How you doing, Dr. Cooley? How you doing?
I'm doing great. And yes, this guest we have on today, I mean, she's used to being the guest host, but now she's the guest. So we're really excited to have her on, talk about a really important topic, especially when it comes to, it's an important topic for everyone, but we're celebrating Women's History Month and we are focusing on women today. So whatever platform you're looking and you're viewing the show, if you have any questions, please write those in, post your comments, and we will let the guests know.
Yeah, Michelle, can you do the honors and introduce the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and this absolutely fantastic guest?
Oh, most definitely. So the title of today's show is called Unraveling Loss and Grief for Women. So we're having a conversation with Paula Shaw. She is a life transitions expert, grief specialist, keynote speaker, media host, and author. She'll talk about what is loss, the difference between men and women and how they grieve, effective tools for women dealing with loss and adjusting to the new normal. For more than 25 years, Paula has been dedicating to helping people navigate the stress of change and challenge using mind-body tools and techniques. She's a founding member of the Association for Comprehensive Energy Psychology. She strongly believes that the tools and methods of this field can shortcut meaningful change and help people get their lives on track and moving in the desired direction more quickly than with traditional methods. Wow, she has an all-inclusive coaching program called Bridges Beyond Grief, which is a customized approach that walks each individual through the challenges of loss and change into a vibrant, satisfying life of purpose and joy. She's also an author of Chakras, The Magnificent Seven, Grief and Will This Pain Ever End, and Saying the Right Thing When You Don't Know What to Say. Please welcome to the show, Paula Shaw.
How you doing, Paula?
Well, after that, I'd have to be doing great.
It's always a pleasure having you on the show. This time you're on the other side.
Yes. Are you hearing an echo?
I hear echo coming from somewhere. I do.
Yeah.
I believe your phone is also hooked up, so I see you twice.
I know what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I see you twice on the screen.
Is that? I know my sound is a problem. You know what? I had you in two different places. I'm going to talk amongst yourselves for a moment. I'll get out and get back in.
Okay. Yeah, so it's an absolute pleasure having Paula on the show. I've been a grief specialist for quite some time.
Yes.
It's amazing at what she do, Michelle. Amazing.
Oh, it's definitely amazing. Everyone grieves different things. A loved one, a pet, which is considered family, and a loved one, loss of a job, a loss of a relationship, the loss of health, so that is definitely important. And, we're celebrating Women's History Month, and we're going to discuss how grief affects women in particularly. So we're really excited to have Paula on the show to address that. And Paula, you're there.
Yes, I hope there's only one of me now.
Only one of you, and we're excited to have you back on the show.
Okay.
And we're going to use this opportunity to let Dr. James J.C. Cooley kind of take a back seat, but he can ask the first question, and I'm going to run with it.
Okay.
Well, Paula, I've been knowing you many, many years, and you have helped me out tremendously when I was going through grief, which loss of my daughter, our daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And my question to you is, I know you just lost your father Recently. How have you adjusted being a grief coach, dealing with grief yourself?
Well, that's such a great question, JC. I will say this, having training and expertise doesn't really help you at all when it's your own loss. You still feel it as deeply. You still are baffled by the feelings, even if you have some idea it's coming in the moment it happens. There's something surreal about it. I've had dreams about that my dad's back, that he's here, that felt so real. I thought the whole death thing was a bad dream and that he actually was really here. And then you grieve again, in a whole new way because you thought it was a mistake, so to speak. And then you realize, no, this is reality. And so I will say that I am doing what I tell everyone else to do, and that is take it one moment at a time. As much as possible, express what you're feeling, either in tears or words or behavior, whatever is authentic for you. You just got to experience that. You got to express that. And that's one of the most healing things you can do is just stay present, stay grounded, and express what's real for you.
Exactly. So everyone knows what grief is, and it's basically tied to a loss. And I was saying to James before you came back on, it could be loss of a family member, loss of health, loss of a beloved family pet, which is, like family, loss of a job, loss of a relationship. So what exactly is loss when you want to break it down in a clinical way, Paula?
The grief is a result of loss, and loss is not having any more in your experience a person, place, thing, condition that was cherished by you, valuable to you, loved by you. When that is no longer there, that void that exists, that's loss. And dealing with that loss, or that loss, I should say, creates feelings. And those feelings equal grief. And that's the difficult thing, but it is a progression. There can't really be grief if there isn't loss. And I loved it that you pointed out that loss comes in many different packages. It isn't just about death. We can grieve the loss of a piece of jewelry that was cherished by us, a job, a place that we lived, a store we used to go. I got to tell you, on some level, I grieve every time I want to go into Bed Bath and Beyond. It doesn't exist anymore here.
I forgot about that. Oh my gosh. Or grieving when you're moving from one house to another, because that house that you're leaving represents a place where your children grew up, and the memories. And though you have the memories, you could grieve the loss of the house, if that makes sense.
It again, loss is no longer having a thing that you value, whether it's a place, a person, a situation. When you don't have it anymore, you experience loss, and that prompts the expression of grief.
So, Paula, women and men, we grieve differently. Men are taught to be tough, to, especially the heads of the family. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me? Okay. Men are taught to be, especially if they're heads of the family, to be, to shoulder the families, grieving. And I see James popped up. Do we have to go to commercial break, James, or do I ask Paula's question?
We got to take a commercial break right now, but come back right after the commercial break and ask that question. Whichever platform you're watching us on, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the comments Ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly at the break.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Welcome to Viridian Christian University, where faith and learning come together to transform lives. At VCU, we believe that education is more than just academics. It's about fostering a community of growth, integrity, and purpose. Whether you're pursuing a bachelor's, master's, or doctorate, VCU offers flexible, affordable, and 100% online degree programs that cater to your busy life. Our innovative platform provides a personalized learning experience, empowering you to thrive in today's ever-evolving world. Join a global community of learners guided by an experienced faculty who are committed to your success. With VCU, you're not just earning a degree, you're preparing for a future that integrates faith, leadership, and service. Viridian Christian University, educating with purpose, transforming lives. Learn more at ViridianChristianUniversity.com. ViridianChristianUniversity.com.
A Black Man's Point of View is the newest Amazon.com #1 release and bestseller book from author Dr. James J.C. Cooley, featuring the perspective from 11 other contributing authors. In A Black Man's Point of View, Dr. James Cooley unpacks his thoughts and personal experiences about the challenges, stereotypes, and feelings of self-worth that many black men face today due to a 400-year ancestry rooted in slavery and colonization. Yet, how so many black men move forward despite this history. Most importantly, A Black Man's Point of View conveys that all men, regardless of race, creed, or color, are capable of love, respect, and dignity. Described as a map to a greater life from the heart of a man who's experienced life's misfortune and harsh conditions, James shows us how beliefs, convictions, and a healthy mentality can help propel a life worth living. A must-read for all. Order your copy of A Black Man's Point of View by author Dr. James J.C. Cooley today from Amazon.com or wherever books are sold.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. And just in case you're just not tuning in, we got the fabulous Paula Shaw on the show today. And she has been doing so many great things over the years as a grief coach, grief specialist, author, on television show, a radio show, all of those great things. I'm still doing so many things. And her and I have this episode which she hosts called Bridges Beyond Grief, where she connect the bridges together because sometimes we all experience grief and we have to bridge those together, get a better understanding. So she's talking about that today, and primarily what women go through, because this is Women's History Month, as I mentioned. And I want to pick it back up from there. If you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on, go to the comments, ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Michelle.
Thank you, James. So Paula, before the break, I was commenting on how men and women grieve differently, or men are basically taught to be the strong ones, especially if they're the father, the head of the family, to, be out, to take on to take on the responsibility of comforting, the wife, the kids, anybody, whether they're single or married, it doesn't matter, but they're taught to be strong. But women, we let it out. So what is the difference between how men and women grieve?
Well, you mentioned a lot of the really important points, Michelle. Because men are, first of all, they live far more in their left brain than women do. The left brain is where the intellect, the strategy, the linear thinking, all of those exist in our left brain. The right side of the brain is very much about emotions. Well, women actually have a bigger right brain and men have a bigger left brain. So it's more natural for men to go to a logical conclusion, a logical behavior, where for women, being emotional is more natural. Now, this isn't black and white straight across the board, but what I'm saying is our tendencies tend to be that way. So, and now put that together with our cultural expectations of men that you were just describing. And quite honestly, poor guys, they get a raw deal when it comes to grief, because nobody expects them to just sit there and sob. And if they do, God bless them, good for them. That is actually helpful to the healing. But more often, they get busy. They get into activity. They start doing things so they won't be focused just on the sadness and the pain. But doing and keeping busy does not really heal that pain. So women are much more likely to pick up the phone and call a friend and talk about it, or to say, hey, can you come over and have a glass of wine with me or a cup of tea? I need to talk. Men don't do that as easily. And our society doesn't really encourage that. Like you said, men are the protectors, they're the providers, they're the strong ones. And so it's a real difficulty for them dealing with grief when it comes into their lives, because when it comes into their lives, it hurts just as badly as it hurts women, but they don't have the same ease in dealing with it.
So, Paula, how does grief affect women emotionally, physically, and mentally?
Yeah. I think women are more likely to go to depression, stillness, almost paralysis, not knowing the next thing to do. Women are more likely to, not necessarily literally, but pull the covers over their head and just go back to sleep, or somehow want to escape the reality of what they're having to deal with. Women are much more prone to depression, sadness, tears, those kinds of responses. Men are more prone to anger. This isn't right. Why me? That kind of thing. And a lot of times a man, when he's in that kind of pain, he'll jump on his bicycle or go for a run or something that involves activity, where a woman is more likely to just sit and stare and be still.
Wow. So, Paul, let's tell the audience about some effective tools for women on how to deal with grief. Can you kind of go through them and whatever order you feel is best?
Yeah. Well, there is no one size fits all. And when I'm working with people, I use a lot of tools. First of all, I want to know them. I want to know what comes most naturally for them. Some people are really good at visualizing things, and that really helps them. Other people are not good at visualizing at all. I think it's very important that you find the right tool for the right person. But in general, I would say some of the things that are helpful, meditation or prayer is really a good one, because we feel very small and very alone when we're grieving. So if we can connect with a bigger energy, whatever your belief system is, whether that is God or Allah or the universe, to just feel that you're not alone and have that connection through prayer or meditation is really important. I love to see people journal, because very often writing down feelings is a way to really have the insight of what you're experiencing, what you're feeling.
Mhm.
And so that's a good one for both men and women. Women tend to be better at sitting down and doing those kinds of rituals. And sometimes it's nice to light a candle or light some incense when you're doing those things. So it becomes like this multi-sensory experience that's all about healing. And that message goes to your brain. You know, when we do this, we're wanting to feel better. We're wanting to, you know, get to a place where once again we can feel like engaging in life. Because a woman really feels like she doesn't want to engage when she's in pain. Men are more used to having to engage, whether it was long ago to get out there and hunt so the family could still eat, or whether it was because, you know, back when I was a child, it was much more common that the man was the breadwinner. Now it's definitely both people. And so it's equally hard for a woman to have to go to work and try to function normally when you aren't feeling normal at all.
And how important do you see a disparity between men and women when it comes to seeking therapy or grief counseling?
Most definitely. Women will go in a minute. Men usually have to be dragged kicking and screaming. And they often only go because their wife, you know, insists that they get some kind of help. Or if they're really, really hurting and having difficulty with functioning, particularly in their jobs, then they will seek help. And I'm so glad you asked this, because so many people think, because grief is a normal, natural part of life. All of us are going to experience loss. All of us are going to experience death, either of someone else or at some point our own. And so a lot of people think because something is a natural part of life, they should be able to figure out how to deal with it. But that's not necessarily so. That's not necessarily true, because you, like me, my dad was 99. He was 3 days from being 99. He has been there every day of my life, of all my 74 years. So there was no way I could imagine, even though I knew the prognosis was death, there was no way I could imagine what it would feel like not to have my dad here anymore. And I think even when people know it's coming, you know, even when someone is a dear friend of mine, her father was in hospice for 11 days. Well, you know, hospice is the end, but you still have no idea what it's going to feel like when it's real until it happens. And sometimes I have literally been told by a couple of men clients, when they got the phone call, they went screaming to the floor and sobbed and could not move for hours. So they certainly can feel it as intensely as women do. But I think tears don't scare us as much as they do men. I mean, I've had men clients tell me they were afraid that if they started crying, they would never be able to stop. And that's pretty terrifying for a guy, because society expects him to dust it off and get back in the game and provide for his family and for whoever is still there.
You know, long-lasting effects for not dealing with grief with women. Let's say physically, it can manifest to, you know, high blood pressure, headaches, insomnia, not eating or overeating, depending on the person.
Exactly.
especially it's kind of like they're in a fog. Like they know this has happened, but they feel like this is it's a bad dream. You said something earlier in the show that I related to a long time ago when I was grieving for a family member. Months afterwards, I dreamt the family member was still alive, and a big old smile came on my face. But when I woke up to the reality, then I got sad again.
Yes. Oh my God, Michelle, I had that very thing happen last week. And the dream was so real that I was sure, my brother and I were together. We were walking into a room, and it was a dark room. And I said to him, Craig, who is in here? And all of a sudden, this man turns around, and it's my dad. And he looked so beautiful and healthy and good. And I was just so elated. And I was like, oh my God, I knew he wasn't gone. That was a mistake. Oh, look. And I could feel him, Michelle. I could feel when I was squeezing his arms, I could feel him hugging me. And he wasn't saying anything in the dream. And I thought it was odd. My brother wasn't as excited as I was. But it was so real. I could feel with my fingers, I could feel him. And then I woke up and I was teary the whole rest of the morning, realizing that it was just a dream. And yeah, it's very difficult when you experience that. It's beautiful in the moment. And my son, who lost his dad several years ago, back in 2017, said to me, I know what that's like, Mom, and it'll come again. He said, I've learned to try to be grateful because I'm getting a little bit more time with him.
Hold that though. We got to take a station break. We're going to come back. This is extraordinary. And I think it's really need to be discussed because a lot of people are holding things on the inside and are not able to grieve and don't understand what that means. And Paula, I think you are putting it out there. So I'll tell you what, we're going to take a station break. If you want to be part of the conversation, whichever platform that you're watching this on, all you have to do is just go to the platform, the comments, asking the question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
For those looking to improve their lives, there's nobody better to turn to than Paula Shaw. Paula helps people regain successful lives by identifying and eliminating self-sabotaging behavior using a multitude of mind-body techniques to identify and resolve their core issues. Working with a wide variety of healing modalities, she provides her clients with the most effective process for their specific needs. To book a session with Paula, call 858-480-9234. That's 858-480-9234.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
At Viridian Christian University, we believe education is more than just a degree. It's a pathway to a purpose-driven life. Whether you're advancing your career, pursuing a passion, or building a new future, VCU's 100% online programs give you the flexibility to learn on your terms, anywhere, anytime. With expert faculty, personalized mentorship, and a faith-centered approach, you'll gain the skills, knowledge, and leadership you need to make a lasting impact. VCU offers bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees, each designed to empower you for success in today's fast-changing world. Join a global community of believers, learners, and leaders. Ready to start your journey? Viridian Christian University, transforming lives, empowering futures. Visit us at ViridianChristianUniversity.com. That's ViridianChristianUniversity.com.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guest will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show. It's Your Life every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego.
Listen up. It's Dr. James J.C. Cooley. Yeah. It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Hey.
Welcome back to James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. And as you already know, we got the extraordinary Paula Shaw here. And we're talking about grief. And we're talking about grief as how, it affects women, not just women in general, but that's what we're talking about today. Women History Month. And grief is painful. I mean, I have went through grief many times. And for anybody out here that don't know, Paula Shaw is one of the best grief counselors, I would say, in the world. I mean, and, Paula, I apologize that you are experiencing grief right now, but you are educating our viewers and our listeners on some of the things that you have to do and recommendations that women that in general probably need to do, because the women, in my opinion, absorb the bulk of everything. Us guys, we kind of wimpy a little bit, and, and we have to keep the women strong. You guys, that's because you guys treat us like babies, and that's sometimes so.
It's true. It's
so,
true.
Paula, so I know you and Michelle talked about some of the healthiest ways that recommend for women that might be going through grief. What are some of the recommendations that you would do, especially encouraging them to get a counselor?
Well, as I was mentioning before, to have some kind of a daily practice that nourishes you, that helps sustain you, that strengthens you. To have a practice like we talked about, prayer and meditation, breathing practices are great. Just one of the ways I really like, and this is great for anxiety, because for women, sometimes grief manifests as anxiety because the world doesn't feel safe anymore. They don't feel like they're enough. One of the problems a lot of grievers have is they feel defective because they can't seem to get over it. And I had a client just yesterday that said something I thought was profound. He said, when you're grieving, you don't move on, you carry on. And it hit me that what's hard for so many people is they want to feel like they used to before the loss. They want to go back to what they think of as normal. But life has been forever changed. There's a new normal, and sometimes that new normal is a gift. That new normal takes us to a place of more wisdom, more compassion, more insight, more understanding. Our pain often teaches us and helps us to grow. It's not our favorite way to get there, I know, but it does. So that new normal is not necessarily something to dread, but I think it's important that we understand we never will be exactly the way we were, because something profound has happened. Something profound has changed us forever. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think it's important to acknowledge. And like I said, perhaps you do a daily breathing practice. Perhaps it's yoga. Exercise is great, guys, because we got to get those feelings out. Remember, emotion means energy in motion. And when that energy of the emotion gets stuck, it's not usually a good thing for us. There have been studies that link cancer to a serious loss 6 months prior. There have been studies that, look at the interaction or the, what's the word I want? The interplay between emotions not expressed, stuffed, or pushed aside that don't heal, that then wreak havoc inside the body in a physical way. We don't want to go there. We definitely don't. Michelle mentioned high blood pressure, headaches, tension in muscles. There's a lot of those things that certainly are exacerbated or created due to intense emotion like grief.
Wow. So how would you explain how can women balance grieving with the responsibilities everyday life? I'm talking about.
Yeah. Boy, that is the
daily
tough.
life.
That is the toughest part for men and women, because we can't just check out of life, especially if you have children or you have a job and responsibilities. I think it is important to take some time away and just acknowledge that something huge and profound has happened. But then I think we girls have to take a little bit of a play from the men's playbook, which is learning how to compartmentalize our thinking a little bit. Learning how to say to ourselves, if something happens that prompts emotion, and I've had this happen for sure, something suddenly reminds me of my dad, or I see a picture or whatever, and the tears come. And give yourself that moment, and then take a deep breath, maybe say a prayer, maybe just do a little quick meditation or a breathing practice that helps you get kind of back into control. And then you move on, because there are places where it's appropriate and okay to express what we feel, and other places we just can't. We have to do the job, so to speak, whether that job is cooking dinner for the rest of the family or finishing up a report that's due for the work that you are doing. So we all do have to function in life. But what I'm saying, the big difference is, at some point in every day, it's important to acknowledge that you're hurting, acknowledge what you're feeling, acknowledge this grief and how painful this loss is. If we try to get so busy that we don't even think about it, and that's the goal, we don't want to think about it, that's where we get into trouble. Because then that grief is pushed down inside, that energy is pushed down inside, and it's going to show up one way or the other, whether it's illness, whether it's anxiety, whether it's fear, it's depression, or some other psychological issue. It will show up. It's real. It's a very real energy, and we need to express it and get it out. Let it move through us and out of us. That's really important. So whatever way works for you. I've always thought like kickboxing would be a great thing to do. I'm a little old for that now, but is then you're really getting it out there. You're making contact with something in an aggressive way. And we all are angry on some level about our losses. Their anger can certainly be a very real part of loss, but you don't have to get angry. That's one of the issues I have with the so-called 5 stages of grief. The 5 stages of grief, that's a whole big misunderstanding. They were the 5 stages of death and dying. They were the stages people go through when they're the one that's going to die. So if you've lost someone else who died, you may never experience denial, anger, bargaining, all of those things that are part of those 5 stages. They were not designed to be the 5 stages of grieving. It was taken from Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's work, which was about working with the people who were dying, not the ones left behind.
Hold that though. We're going to take a station break, but I want to come back. I want you to talk about those 5 stages again, because I think it's so important in our discussion today. And I tell you, whichever platforms you're watching this on, you already know Paula's show is amazing. And beautiful as ever. I mean, no one would ever expect her to be more than 50 years old. Look at her. You know? Yeah, so I tell you, we're gonna come back and we're gonna pick it up with a lot more Paula Shaw. If you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the platform that you're watching us on, ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
In this life you are gonna grow, but there's things in this world that you gotta know. To be the best that you can be, you wanna grow real big into a strong tree. To be who you're created to be, the one who's gonna leave a legacy is you. But you got to have these 4 C's. Create, collaborate, then you commit with confidence. Create, collaborate, then you commit with confidence. It's the 4 C's. Oh yeah. It's the 4 C's.
Dr. James JC Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Welcome to Viridian Christian University, where faith and learning come together to transform lives. At VCU, we believe that education is more than just academics. It's about fostering a community of growth, integrity, and purpose. Whether you're pursuing a bachelor's, master's, or doctorate, VCU offers flexible, affordable, and 100% online degree programs that cater to your busy life. Our innovative platform provides a personalized learning experience, empowering you to thrive in today's ever-evolving world. Join a global community of learners guided by an experienced faculty who are committed to your success. With VCU, you're not just earning a degree, you're preparing for a future that integrates faith, leadership, and service. Viridian Christian University, educating with purpose, transforming lives. Learn more at ViridianChristianUniversity.com. ViridianChristianUniversity.com.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and we got Paula Shaw here. Today, Unraveling loss and grief for women. I tell you, this discussion has been so amazing, so amazing. We got a lot more of the discussion. We got about 10 minutes left in the show, but I want to talk about Viridian Christian University. As you know, I am the chancellor of Viridian Christian University. Our university is, I tell you, I think it's incredible. It's accredited. It's online. We offer 30-degree programs. Most of our students are international students that around the world. We got a graduation that's coming up in April in Dubai. So Michelle and I will be heading to Dubai the 3rd week of April to honor and present a lot of our students with their degrees. And I tell you, it's just easy. We offer bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degree program. We also offer honorary doctorate degree program. Paula Shaw. We also offer honorary doctorate degree programs for people that are doing well and achieving and changing lives and all that. You want to be a part of our university, all you have to do is just look up Viridian Christian University and, sign up. Let us know what you think. I want to get back to Paula. You said something in the last segment as it relate to your father, you woke up, you dreamed, you thought he was there. It happened to me all the time. And it's so real. To me, it is. Until I actually shake it off and I say, what would you tell a person that does this and then they become depressed?
That's a good question, because I think I experienced a little bit of that kind of a response when it happened to me. But I loved what my son shared with me, because at first he felt depressed when he would have those kinds of dreams, because obviously you're feeling joyful again. You're in the presence of this loved one, and then you wake up and it's not real. But what he said is that he has learned to kind of cherish those moments as a little more time with that loved one. But if a person is feeling depressed, when they are experiencing that kind of thing, and I mean, I remember several other losses besides my dad, where there'd be that, the euphoria that you're experiencing in sleep, particularly if you're having a great dream. And then that moment that you wake up and that feeling in your stomach of, that then you remember what reality is. And it's very difficult to do that. I would say if that tends to cause a person to feel depressed, that's a great time to maybe use some energy psychology techniques. Like, for example, in a study done at Harvard, they simply tapped these acupoints right here while focusing on the thing that caused the angst and the upset. And what they saw in doing an MRI in real time was that sent calming signals to the amygdala. And the amygdala is that part of our brain that prepares us for fight, flight, or freeze. It's the part that gets all agitated when we're feeling the sadness and the pain of our loss, because somehow it perceives that we're not safe anymore, or maybe the world isn't a safe place. So there are many videos on the internet on EFT, which is a technique where you tap different meridian points on the body as you focus on the negative thing, which seems kind of counterintuitive, but it's helpful for the reasons I just explained. It sends calming signals to the amygdala, basically saying it's safe to chill, even though this reality that we hate is real, even though it's still there. So tools, I think it's important we have tools. There's a technique I created where you install in the subconscious mind a special word, and you give the subconscious instructions. Whenever I say that word, neutralize negative feelings I'm having about whatever it is I'm thinking about. And so you say your word. Let's say the word is love. I'm thinking about, I'm feeling sad that my dad is gone, or I'm feeling sad that that dream wasn't real. And then I would just focus on it and say love. And my subconscious has already been instructed what to do. That can be really helpful. Just doing something as simple as crossing your arms and tapping left arm, right arm, left arm, right arm, while you think about the thing that's making you sad and causing emotion, that helps to integrate left and right brain. And remember, I was saying right brain's emotional, left brain is logical. Usually when we're emotional, we're not in the left brain at all. This helps us to get there as well, because the answers do lie in the logic, in the intellect, in, well, here's what would be a good thing for me to do. Even when I said I love journaling, then I think that's so good for people. That's more of a left brain activity to say to yourself, okay, it's now time to journal. I'm going to get out that little book and a pen, and I'm going to start writing. Now, maybe when you start writing your feelings, you start crying, or you start feeling angry or agitated or even scared. That's okay. but you're still engaged in a left brain activity that is leading you more and more to the area of healing. And please remember, everybody, grief isn't a 3-day experience. It's not an event, it's a process. And give yourself as much time as you need. There is no one size fits all. One person may feel better in a month, another a year, 2 years. And just honor that whatever you're doing is authentic for you. This is your process, and you are grieving in the only way you can. But try to do one thing every day that helps you. Maybe it's a gratitude walk. Maybe it's saying that little prayer, lighting that candle, whatever it is, try to do at least one thing every day, leading you in the direction of healing with that intention. I want to heal. I want to walk through this grief journey and get to the other side.
So Paula, talk about the new normal quickly. We got a couple of minutes before reality is happen. Let's talk about briefly the new normal a person has to deal with.
And we got a minute, about a minute and a half for that.
Okay, thank you, JC. One of the things that my radio show podcast was called Change It Up, and I wanted that title because change is what's really difficult for humans. We need change to grow and to keep life interesting. We hate the discomfort of the unfamiliar. When we suffer a loss and we're now grieving, we're in the land of the unfamiliar. And that's why we have such a hard time with change. And yet we need it. And so I say, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to read some books or talk to safe people, not people who are going to tell you how to do it or how to do it the right way. There is no right way. So talk to safe people, read books, go to a therapist, get help with your grief. Because it's a normal, natural part of life doesn't mean it's an easy part of life, and doesn't mean that you naturally know how to navigate it. We all need help with things we've not done before.
You're absolutely right. Hey, Paula, we out of time right now. But you know that you can always come on my show. Every Thursday, we're going to do Bridges Beyond Grief. And so you guys can get an opportunity to see and hear Paula a lot more. But Paula, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show today. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. I'd like to thank our producers at Sailor Media in San Diego, AM 1170 Answer, FM 96.1. The Answer, Todd, Kevin, that team out there. Also like to thank our team in Dallas, AM 660, The Answer. And most importantly, our viewers and our listeners. Always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life, and we'll see you then.